A glimpse into the past. French Indochina, Southeast Asia. A tapestry of vibrant cultures, lush landscapes, and ancient histories. Nestled in this region lies Indochina, a peninsula shaped by centuries of trade and cultural exchange. For centuries, this region thrived as a crossroads of civilizations. The mighty Mekong River, a lifeline for millions, flowed through its heart. Before Europeans, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia had unique traditions and political systems. The 19th century brought European ambitions to expand their empires. France, with a history of colonial ventures, set its sights on Indochina. The story of French Indochina is one of complex interactions, cultural clashes, and resilience. It continues to shape the destinies of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia today. France's interest in Indochina stemmed from a combination of economic, political, and religious motives. The Industrial Revolution had created a thirst for raw materials and new markets, and Southeast Asia, with its abundance of rice, rubber, and other resources, seemed ripe for exploitation. The French also saw Indochina as a strategic foothold in Southeast Asia, a way to counter the growing influence of Britain in the region. Moreover, there was a strong missionary zeal driving French expansion. The Catholic Church saw Indochina as fertile ground for conversions, and French missionaries, often at the forefront of colonial expansion, actively sought to spread Christianity. They believed in the civilizing mission of colonialism, aiming to convert the local population to Christianity and modernize their societies according to French ideals. The allure of the East, with its exotic cultures and potential riches, captured the imagination of many in France. Tales of adventure and opportunity circulated, painting a picture of Indochina as a land waiting to be tamed and civilized. This romanticized view often ignored the complexities of the existing societies and the potential consequences of colonial intervention. France's colonial venture in Indochina was a gradual process, marked by a series of military campaigns, treaties, and political maneuvers. It began in the 1850s with the conquest of Saigon, which became the capital of the French colony of Cochinchina. Over the following decades, France expanded its control over the rest of Vietnam, establishing the protectorates of Annam and Tonkin. Laos, with its mountainous terrain and less developed economy, attracted less French attention initially. However, France gradually asserted its influence over the kingdom through a series of treaties and agreements, finally establishing a protectorate over Laos in 1893. Cambodia, caught between the expanding French and Siamese empires, became a French protectorate in 1863. The French saw Cambodia as a buffer state between their possessions in Vietnam and British-controlled Burma, further solidifying their grip on Southeast Asia. The process of colonization was met with resistance from the local population. Uprisings and rebellions, though often quelled by superior French firepower, demonstrated the resentment towards foreign rule. These acts of resistance, often led by local leaders and fueled by a desire to preserve traditional ways of life, highlighted the inherent tensions between the colonizer and the colonized. Section 4. Shifting Sands, Cultural and Economic Transformations. The French colonial administration brought about significant changes to the cultural and economic landscapes of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. In the realm of economics, France sought to exploit the region's resources for its own benefit. Rice production was intensified, rubber plantations were established, and mining operations for tin, zinc, and coal were expanded. This economic transformation, however, primarily benefited French companies and a small elite class of local collaborators. The majority of the population, particularly in rural areas, experienced limited economic advancement and often faced exploitation and displacement. Culturally, the French imposed their language, education system, and administrative structures on Indochina. French became the language of administration, education, and elite society, creating a linguistic and cultural divide between those who had access to French education and those who did not. Traditional systems of education and scholarship were often undermined or neglected, leading to a loss of cultural heritage. Section 5. Tumultuous times, key events in Indochina. The colonial period in Indochina was marked by several key events that shaped the region's history. The Indochina Wars, spanning from the 1940s to the 1970s, were pivotal in the struggle for independence. The First Indochina War, 1946 to 1954, saw Ho Chi Minh's Viet Minh defeat the French at Dien Bien Phu. Post-war, Vietnam was divided into North and South, with the US supporting the South. The Vietnam War, lasting until 1975, devastated Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. It became a focal point of the Cold War, highlighting superpower involvement in regional conflicts. The war's legacy continues to shape international relations and serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. Section 6. Echoes of Empire: The Legacy of French Rule. The French colonial legacy in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia remains a complex and contested issue. On the one hand, French colonialism left an indelible mark on the region's infrastructure, legal systems, and cultural landscapes. The French introduced modern technologies, established universities and hospitals, and constructed roads, bridges, and railways that connected different parts of Indochina. However, this legacy is intertwined with the negative consequences of colonialism, including economic exploitation, cultural suppression, and political instability. The arbitrary borders drawn by the French, coupled with the ethnic and religious divisions they exacerbated, contributed to future conflicts and tensions in the region. The legacy of French colonialism continues to influence the political, economic, and social landscapes of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia today. The challenges of nation-building, economic development, and coming to terms with the past are ongoing processes, shaped in part by the experiences of the colonial era. Section 7. Conclusion: The Enduring Imprint. The story of French Indochina is a tale of ambition, exploitation, resistance, and resilience. It is a story that highlights the complexities of colonialism and its long-lasting impact on the colonized. While the era of European empires has ended, the echoes of that period continue to reverberate in the present day. Understanding the history of French Indochina is crucial for comprehending the contemporary realities of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. The legacies of colonialism, the cultural influences, the economic disparities, and the political divisions continue to shape the destinies of these nations. As we move forward, it is essential to learn from the past, acknowledge the injustices inflicted, and work towards a future where the people of Southeast Asia can determine their own destinies, free from the shadows of empire.